They say that trading is 80% psychology and 20% skill. However, one big mistake that most of us make on our learning journey is to put 100% of our effort into just learning the skill. This actually logically makes no sense if you think about it. If they're saying that 80% is something else, then shouldn't that be the thing that we work on the most? But don't worry if this is you. You may notice that on this channel, I call you out on a lot of things, and it's not to make anyone feel bad. It's because we all go through the same journey. All of these things that I talk about, I myself have felt when I was learning to become a trader, and I know everybody else goes through the exact same journey. So I'm here to share this with you to show you how I overcame challenges and to show you what is actually really, really important. Because the problem is when we're in that learning phase, when we are trying to attain the skill of learning to trade or becoming good traders, we tend to just jump from strategy to strategy to strategy, thinking that the problem is that you haven't nailed the right strategy yet. And really what's underlying is our relationship with money, our relationship with ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, and what we truly believe we deserve as human beings. So that's going to be the focus of today's video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an expert to help me navigate this with you, because this is not my specialty. I am not an advice giver in this area, but I know it's crazy that people don't focus on things like this. And so I want to bring in someone that I really love and respect in this space. She is the coach inside of 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗃. Our community knows her extremely well. And now I wanted to bring her onto YouTube so that you can meet her, because I feel like this subject right here is not talked about enough, and it is essential to becoming a profitable trader. I am, of course, talking about my very good friend and colleague. Her name is Kat. Hello, Kat. How are you?
Yeah, good, Annii. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for coming on today. I feel like this is such an important subject, and I'm really excited to speak to you about it, because I know that you call people out on their BS around this kind of thing, and it's what people need. So before we get into that, before we expose that side of Kat to people, just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you became part of 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗃.
So you and I have been friends for quite a few years now, and I have been a coach for a relationship and personal coach for over 11 years now. And I was introduced to the trading side of things about 5 years ago, I feel it was. And I never had heard anything about trading. And when Annii introduced us to it, it was like, wow, this is just a whole new world that I'm really interested to be exposed to. So I started off, we would do her and I one-on-ones, and then it grew because I run a women's group as well, and it evolved to them, and then it evolved to us running a women's group within a community, me doing the mindset and emotional set coaching, and then of course Annie's gone on her own, and now I'm in that community, and I absolutely love being a part of it, and it's really opened my eyes to really what's going on with traders and at a deeper level, as Annii was speaking about earlier before. So I've been doing this now for quite a few years and really looking forward to where it takes us. And today I'm really passionate about where we're going to go with this particular topic, because it is 80% of what is causing a lot of traders not to get where they want to go.
Yes, absolutely the key point. And what I love about you especially is that what you do is you work closely with people who are on the journey of becoming traders. You know, it's not the traders who are already successful, although you do work with those as well, but you're seeing people from the time that they, you know, are searching on YouTube, you know, trying to learn the basics of trading, to actually going in and joining a community. Like you said, you've worked in a number of communities now. So you have, you know, that experience of working with people who are on the same journey of trying to actually get good at something. So having worked closely with people that are on that journey for so many years now, what do you see are some common issues that people experience on their journey of learning to trade?
The most common, of course, as many of you will probably resonate with, is the FOMO, the impatience, the loss of accounts, which then cause this fear of making a decision. They're the surface, it's repeated. But if you want to go to the crux of it, I'm going to share the biggest mistake is that we have all been educated that trading is 80% psychology. You look at FOMO and you look at impatience, they're all emotions. And so I feel, unfortunately, it's been very misguided to a lot of traders that just focus on your mindset and you'll be good to go. But what's happening is they're doing the work on their mindset and yet they're still repeating the patterns. So that's the biggest problem that I have faced and seen within our community and other communities that I've been a part of. We've just been so misinformed about what we need to work on aside from our TA. And so within TTC, I'm really shifting the education and really sharing with our community the importance of what we're going to speak about very shortly.
So you mentioned then about mindset and emotion. So what exactly is mindset?
Well, mindset, when you look at mindset, it's thoughts, right? It's all about our thoughts. So the problem is with mindset is it's quite a difficult journey to continuously monitor our thoughts. If you've got negative thoughts or you're not feeling good enough or your self-worth, or even if some of you may be saying, oh, I can't get this, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing. All of that is your mindset, right? Now, most people say, all you got to do is work on your mindset, shift your mindset, and you're good to go. If that was the case, then why is it that people keep repeating the pattern? There's a missing link. Because if you let's look at it logically, just for a moment. FOMO is an emotion, is it not? Yes. Impatience is an emotion. So if we're just working on mindset, how are you working on those emotions that are driving those negative thoughts? Because mindset initially is thoughts, and people will ask me, oh, I just need a tool to overcome FOMO. I just need a tool to, learn to be disciplined. But it's more about asking yourself, why? Why are you not disciplined, and why do you have FOMO? So with mindset, basically, it is to the crux of it. It's about our thoughts.
So it sounds to me like if somebody wants to improve on their trading, they, and they are making those constant mistakes that we all make in the beginning. The natural kind of progression is to believe that you have to work on your mindset, and so looking for tools to do that, and that is the place to start. But from listening to what you're saying, it sounds like mindset is it's just a set of beliefs that influence how you think, feel, and behave. So that would mean that if mindset is just the influence, then how you think, feel, and behave is a choice. Then that means that is able to be worked on to put you, I guess, in like I guess you would say more of an abundant state, or, just a better state that leads to positive outcomes. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Well, you said it's a choice, right? And if you are in a lack of abundant mindset, right? From your perspective, I would say to someone, okay, so how do you choose to do that? That sounds like continuous work. You've got to continuously be aware of your thoughts, right? And catch yourself out and go, oh no, I'm abundant. And, we speak about mantras and all of that. They're they're a tool, they're handy to have in your bucket. The problem is, what's driving those, Annii? What is driving all of those thoughts of lack of abundance, whatever else is going on? It's about going deeper and identifying where are all of those thoughts of lack coming from. People speak about limiting beliefs is a huge one, right? Limiting beliefs. Oh, just give me a tool for limiting beliefs. My response to anyone in the community, they know me well enough like now, it's like, yes, but where are those limiting beliefs? Where are they stemming from? What is causing those limiting beliefs, right? We don't just have limiting beliefs. Something has happened, whether it be in 5 years ago, even during childhood, that is driving those limiting beliefs. So you can put a Band-Aid on by using a tool. Great. If that's what you choose, it's hard work, because ask yourself, how many times have people brought in a tool and only to discover they've reverted back and they're repeating the pattern? For anyone that's repeated a pattern or lost an account, blown account more than once, let me ask you, why is that happening? When you've got all the tools, you're using and you're implementing them and you're working on your mindset, but yet you repeat the pattern.
And so this would come down to being able to have the ability to recognize your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors around really anything. And this, it's not even isolated to trading, but, you know, for the purpose of talking about trading, I guess that would be the first step, would you say? Whereas most people would, you know, if they realize that it's, you know, something's going on psychologically, let's say, that is not to do with your trading strategy, your chart, or whatnot, and you decide that you want to improve the way you think, you would naturally start to turn to motivational videos, right? And this is where your tools, and you know, there's so many videos on YouTube about how to stay motivated and how to have an abundant mindset and da da da. But it sounds like what you said, that's a Band-Aid solution, and there's a step kind of before that, which kind of sounds like it's the harder work to do, of first working out, like, why do I have these feelings? Why do I have these thoughts? You know, why do I behave this way? Especially if you have, like, for just as an example, you have a really strict trading plan and something happens on the chart that makes you break one of your own rules. That's a behavior. If you repeat doing that, that's the behavior. So really what you have to ask yourself is, like, why do I keep repeating that behavior? And it's not really like, if you're looking for a logical answer, as in you're looking at a trading plan, well, my trading plan's wrong. That's not the answer. It's probably more likely that you don't believe you deserve to win, you know, or could be something else. But as an example, it comes down to what you believe, right?
It is predominantly that, but the other offset of that, it could be on that day that you've done trading, you're not in the right emotional state to begin with, right? So an example, if you've got children, look, kids are hectic, and it's not that you don't love them, but, you know, the mornings in particular for a lot of traders, you're getting kids off to school and, you know, all of that. What happens is we're not taught, because we just feel it's mindset. We've just got to get our mind right and we're good to go. Deep in the gut is this churning, especially if, you know, you've had a bit of a heated discussion with one of the kids because they didn't want to do as they were told. That's still sitting there if you haven't done an emotional check-in, right? What happens is you go in, you open your computer, you look at the charts, that frustration is still sitting within. What happens is that particular day, it can be just as simple as you weren't focused. You weren't in the space. You weren't there because of what has transpired. It could be a multitude of things. You've had a heated discussion with a partner. You've had a crappy day at work. All of these things must be considered. So that's another reason why, but it's still emotional. But predominantly, if it keeps happening, than something deeper attached, as you were just saying, Annii?
It's so interesting because I feel like for my own journey, I've done a lot of this work that you speak of, which you know about because you were a part of me doing this work. And in doing that work, I discovered that I have two modes as a human. I have perfectionist and invisible, right?
Yeah.
And that, you know that, right? And and that comes from my parents, you know. So to my dad, I was the apple of his eye. I was the most perfect human that ever existed. And to my mother, I was the middle child and I didn't exist. So this in my life, and if I can't be perfect, I don't want to do it at all. So, you know, it's actually one of the reasons that I struggle with YouTube a lot, because, or just being on social media in general, because I know this space, I know the crypto space, and I know that in order to become one of the largest channels, you have to invoke emotions in your audience. So you have to invoke fear, panic, greed, like you have to. It's part of your thumbnails, the green, the red, the warning, the caution, the breakout imminent. And it's not in my nature to be that kind of a person. So I have to accept I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be number one as a crypto influencer, let's say, or, you know, a crypto creator on social media, because it doesn't align with my values to invoke that in people. So it's just, it works out in this situation, it works out lucky for me that my mission in life, my purpose in life, which I know what that is so well, is so much greater than my limiting beliefs that I must be perfect or not exist at all. So when we relate that exact same problem to trading, that was my journey. Was I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to have a high win rate, and I could not for a long time accept losing trades. It would make me feel like a failure, like I was stupid. I was never going to get this. You know, when you lose a trade, it always feels so obvious afterwards. How did I miss that? I'm not perfect, right? So therefore, maybe I just shouldn't do this. And so the way that I kind of worked myself out of that was I decided that I had to learn to accept that you just can't always be right. And I'm so totally fine with that now, but it did take me a long time. And the other thing I did was, instead of telling myself, so that the thoughts and my belief was, if I lose a trade, I'm not perfect, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good at trading, whatever. I had to shift that belief. So what I would do is, every day before I even opened my computer to see a chart, I would sit down in front of it and I would say, this is going to be easy to me today. I'm going to understand what I'm looking at. And just that would just change my thoughts, literally change my thoughts. And I would open the computer and it would become more obvious. And that also got me into the state of, okay, well, if I've done that, if I've put myself in this state and then I open the computer and it's genuinely not obvious, then just don't trade and be okay with that, you know? So that that's the work that I personally had to do, which, you know, comes from what you're saying. It wasn't about me watching mindset videos. It was about me going all the way back to my childhood and, you know, go, what are my beliefs from my childhood? That you're perfect, you know, like I was the state champion in athletics. I was, to my dad, I was the prettiest girl that ever existed, you know, like just, I was dressed well as a child, you know, just everything was neat and perfect. I always had a tidy room and just, it was perfection or nothing. So I had to go back to that. And or to my mother, that just didn't exist. The middle child, youngest child was a boy. That's always the favorite. And the oldest child was the girl who's like always the favorite as well. But I just had middle child syndrome, troublesome son, you know, talented older sister. So yeah, it was just non-existent. So I had to deal with those two things. And that's actually got nothing to do with trading. Like actually, you know what I mean? Like, it's got nothing to do with trading. It's me. It's about me. That's the 80%. So I relate 100% to what you're saying, because if I didn't work on that, and you know why I started working on that is because because I'm so analytical, I went, hold on a second. There's a statistic out here that says 80% psychology, 20% skill. Why? Exactly how I introed this interview. Why would I spend 100% of the time on the 20% thing? Like, that doesn't make sense. So, so I was lucky that very early on, and probably through having friends such as yourself and understanding just in general conversation, have nothing to do with trading, like how much our upbringing and you know, just whatever, the way that we evolve as humans in life, how important that is, and it plays a role in absolutely everything else. So when I tell you that was my tool that helped me to get good, was, you know, not before looking at a chart say I'm going to understand this. That was a tool that I use. So I guess, you know, with that in mind, what are some things, like, for people that are watching this today that have, you know, had that light bulb moment? By the way, if you have had a light bulb moment, smash the like button for Kat and let us know that this stuff is really helping you. But yeah, what are some things that people who are watching and I guess maybe feeling a bit exposed after this conversation from what you've said today, what are some things that they can do that will assist them just in taking that first step towards working on their emotional state when it comes to trading? Because what I'm getting from you is that it's not mindset, it's emotional state, and we need to shift to thinking about that. So how do you confront your emotions and, you know, take that first step towards going, all right, got to have some accountability here?
The very first thing coming from what we've discussed is actually shifting. I want to shift where we're saying it's 80% psychology to I want to change it to 80% emotion. That's number one. If you can really take that on board, because at the end of the day, before I give you a couple of things, we say we emotionally trade. We don't say we mindset trade, right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is, just as Annii did mention, is about having awareness of your thoughts, having awareness of what's actually going through your thoughts when you're trading. That's the most important. Don't dismiss anything, because that is going to be the key to really identifying what it's attached to. That's one of the first most important steps, is to become aware of your thoughts. Another tool that you can use, which will assist you, is, I mentioned, a self-check-in, and it's something that you should be doing before every trade, because as I said, it's 80% emotion. So it's so important that you're in a balanced emotional state before you go to the charts. Now, once you start being aware of your thoughts, as Annii mentioned, and her and I spoke about that, and I said, perfectionism, and we went back and we spoke and really identified how her childhood blueprint has defined parts of her behaviors in her adult life, right? And, you know, if you were a child that felt that they had to be a high achiever and this is about ownership and accountability, that's outside of awareness, you have to become accountable and own. Now, it's been so, the stigma, and it's been so ingrained in us, and it was, you know, and Annii has mentioned before in other things about, as a child, we always need to feel that we need to be right. So that's so deeply ingrained that we don't want to be wrong as an adult. And Annie's, you know, and it's so right. We don't want to be wrong. And so that's why for so many people, it's really difficult to take ownership and accountable for what's going on. But today I want to offer you a different perspective, which is something that we weren't taught when we were kids. With ownership and accountability, you now have the ability to look at it from a positive perspective. Because once you take ownership and accountable and go, oh my goodness, this is why I've repeated the pattern. This is why I've blown my account. Then, rather than be hard on yourself, ask yourself, what can you do to make change. So from today moving forward, I hope that you see accountability and ownership as a positive, because it now gives you the ability to change whatever it is, that pattern. You now have given yourself permission to go, okay, yep, that's what I've done in the past. I'm not going to hold on to that, because I'm actually going to use that as leverage. And I'm actually going to use that to empower me to make change. So ownership and accountability is empowering and positive. It's not negative. You know, there's this saying, this is a little bit of an offset, but it's very similar to, I like to be the dumbest person in a room. And the reason why is because I want to learn. So what is wrong with being wrong? Because from being wrong, you learn, right? We talk about lessons, and Annii and I speak about lessons. I don't even use the word failure. For me, they're all our learnings. Our learnings are our lessons. They're not failures, because you cannot grow. Otherwise, if we didn't fail or weren't always right, how do you grow and learn, Annii? I don't know how you would be stagnant,
Exactly.
which is not really what I want to be. So yeah, they're the two defining, is awareness and accountability.
Yes, those are some really amazing points, amazing advice. Kat, thank you for coming on today and for, you know, sharing this really important subject with our viewers. If people want to know more about you, I'll definitely link all of your social media down below. But what are the main ones that you're on?
I am on Facebook, just under my name, and I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, which is Inner Child Coach. I'm also on YouTube. I've been a bit slack, so I'm going to rev that back up.
And I'd love to have you, you know, do some more stuff with us on this channel and, you know, talk about this a lot more. I think especially, you know, I mean, this is like timeless stuff. It doesn't matter whether the market's going up or down. There are emotions that we have to deal with along the way. But, you know, at the time that we're actually talking about this, we are on the verge of what we hope to be the next bull market, and greed is going to be a massive emotion that people have to deal with. So if we can, you know, together on this channel, make it a goal of our channel to guide people to, you know, have a successful bull market, then I think, yeah, that will definitely be a box ticked for TTC. So I would love to see you more on this channel. If you have enjoyed today's video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if this is more stuff that you want to see covered, because you don't see it on social media. Then, you know, you can now see that it's a lot more than just having the skill. There's a lot more we have to work on. So if you've enjoyed this content, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, everything like that. And also be sure to check out the social links for Kat down below as well. I'll see you guys on the next video.